We live in a world where the majority of our young people, our elementary, middle school, high school, and our college students, our young adults, operate with the mentality of copy paste. And just to be very, very clear, honest, and transparent, many, if not most of our adults, operate with the same mentality. When we were born, we came into the world wanting to be nothing except for who we were born to be. We wanted what we wanted. We liked what we liked. We listened to what we wanted to listen to. We watched what we wanted to watch. But as we got older and as we got around more children, it then became a matter of not necessarily doing what we wanted to do anymore, but doing what would allow us to fit in. Because we have this mechanism, it's called a survival mechanism. And so we adopt this copy and paste mentality because we literally just want to fit in. We want to be accepted. But when I show up being myself in front of a group of people that have already adapted to different people, they then begin to make fun of me. Has anybody ever experienced that? Like, have you ever been picked on by someone, your classmates? Have you ever been bullied? Like, kids are really, really mean. And a lot of times when they have their insecurities, if not most of the time when they're insecure, they're trying to hide their own insecurities by amplifying someone else who's bold enough to be themselves. You have some kids that come to school with Barbie dolls and somebody will make fun of them for bringing Barbie dolls to school. You have some kids who still sleep with a stuffed animal, and when it's nap time, they bring their stuffed animal, and you have other kids that make fun of them. You're too old to be sleeping with a stuffed animal. And so as we continue to expose ourselves to society, to the community that we're in at whatever age it is, we begin to open up our vulnerabilities. And the more that we are ourselves, the more weird we seem to be. The more odd, the more we don't fit in because we're not trying to be everybody else. And so what happens is all of these people, or just one person that can have the whole group of people make fun of us and laugh at their jokes because they're pointing out a way that we're different, that we actually like about ourselves, we begin to hide into a shell. And we're doing that because it's our survival instinct. We just want to make it through this moment. We just want to make it through this week, through this year, and pray that it doesn't follow us to the rest of our lives. And as we're in this shell, in this little clear plastic egg, we're just looking around. We're looking around and we're watching and we're absorbing. And we're watching and we're absorbing and we're seeing the different reactions to the different sights that we see, the different sounds that we hear. And then eventually we begin to mimic. We begin to try to adapt and adopt whatever it was that we saw and heard based off of the reactions of others. We try to adopt that into our own lives. And we try to conform to this world that was meant and created for everyone to operate in their own unique gifts and embrace their own unique differences. But because we have to survive, we have to make it through this difficult situation, what seems unbearable sometimes at a point. When you look back on it, it was like, that was so silly. We try to become other people. We try to do what other people do just to fit in, just to be liked, just to be accepted. And then the person that we started off being, the person that we really loved hanging out with, we really enjoyed talking to, whether it be with other people or by ourselves, that person begins to get suppressed and pushed down. It's never gone. That person never disappears. It just gets buried deeper and deeper underneath the false beauties or the false amazing qualities, the false smartness of other people. And then we begin to be even more insecure because we're pretending to be someone that we're not to fit in with a group of people who are pretending to be people that they aren't. But if you're somebody who's trying to be successful in life, then I need to let you in and let you know that success is attracted to authenticity. Authenticity is what attracts success. So on your path to success, on this journey, as we focus on being hungry in order for you to reach your goals and be as successful as you want to be, I want you to focus on the why. And the why is be yourself. God created you in a specific way, with a specific plan and a specific purpose for your life. But because you're so focused on other people and how successful they are and what they did to get there, you're trying to do things that are out of your lane just to achieve a success that doesn't fit into the future that your purpose was created for you to make. You have so many people who will go out into the world, and just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something. You have people who are trying to be artists, musicians, but you were created to be a carpenter. But you can play pretty good, and now you see, oh my gosh, this overnight sensation. Look, all she did was post a video on YouTube and it went viral. But how many times did she post on YouTube and nobody saw her? Oh my gosh, you look at the NBA stars, the NFL stars. They're so amazing. They're so great. Look at how strong and powerful they are. I want to be that when I grow up. I can be that. But what if you were supposed to own the team, not play for the team? And so you get so caught up in the distractions of what they've accomplished and what their accomplishments have brought to them that you lose sight of what it is you were created to do. Because if you stick inside the parameters that you were created to operate in other words, if you stay in your lane, guess what? Your lane is going to lead you to your success. Then we have this thing where we're in a field and we know that this is our purpose. This is where we're supposed to be. And so what do? We go study everybody else in that field. And we start taking courses and classes and working on what they worked on to be as great as they became. But sometimes when we do that, we lose sight of who we are. And so then when we're trying to do that in the field that we're supposed to be in, we're trying to do it, but we're trying to do it like somebody else. Like maybe you're supposed to be a chef that goes viral and you have your own in-home cooking show, but you've been watching the Neelys and you've been watching Paula Deen and you've been watching Tabitha Brown. Like you've been watching all of these amazing chefs that have their own show and you're trying to be like them. So now you're trying to change the way you talk. You're trying to change the way you approach people. You're trying to change the way you chop things up. And because you're being so focused on trying to be other people, even though you're in your lane, you're messing up your course. You're trying to do things outside of what you were created to do, when if you would just look inside and be yourself, being yourself will create the way for you. You don't have to be somebody else to be a great chef. You don't have to be somebody else to be a great performer. You don't have to be somebody else to be a great athlete, to be a great business owner, to be a great author. You have your own story. You have your own purpose. You have your own life. But in order to be successful in that life, successful in that purpose, and successful in that story, you have to write it based on who you were created to be. You can't take other people's stories and then tell them and then just say, oh, it's my story now because I told it. You can't take other people's, the thing that makes them unique. Guess what? That's why they're successful in their industry, because they are doing the one thing that makes them unique. And you can't take their unique thing and put it all over you and then try to be you through their unique thing and expect the same success. Because everybody who's watching, all of the people who are waiting on you to show up and be you, bold and proud, they're distracted because they're like, this reminds me of so-and-so. If you want to be successful in life, if you want a life worth living, if you want to look back over your life and be proud of who you are, be proud of who you became, be proud of the difference and the impact that you made in this world, then you got to do it being yourself. If you're a speaker, speak like you. Don't try to go on stage and have the presence of Tony Robbins. Don't try to go on stage and be a Lisa Nichols. Don't try to go on stage and be a Dr. Martin Luther King. You have to be you. You have your own flow. You have your own rhythm. You have your own highs and lows, your own stories, your own background, your own present, your own experiences. And you have to use those to curate and craft and create the person God always intended for you to be. Because once you're being the person that God intended you to be, and once you're aligning all of your talents and skills, your energy and your effort into that lane that God created you to drive in, then you have no choice but to be successful. Because the Bible says that God has plans for you, plans to prosper you and give you hope for a future, not to harm you. But see, we end up harming ourselves, and then sometimes we blame God, but it was the decision that we made. Like, God, why didn't you stop me? You have free will. And there was something in the process of you making that decision that you felt inside that was like, I don't think this is really the best decision, but it's better than the last decision I made, so I'm going to make it and hope it works out. And then when it doesn't work out, we ask God to save us. When all we had to do from the beginning was follow our instincts, listen to that inner voice, and be everything, every bit of everything that we were created to be within our lane. You can't be this amazing or potentially amazing flute or pianist. You can't be this potentially amazing guitar player. You can't be this potentially amazing harpist. But then you set it down because you see a Gabby Douglas, a Michael Phelps, you see a Serena Williams, and you're like, hold up. Okay, I can get with that. Let me try. And now everything that you were created to be, that's going to be exactly what you needed to be successful in your lane, you're dropping it just so you can go over there and be the next Michael Johnson, Usain Bolt. Like you're trying to be someone else. And now you're working so hard to be someone else that you get exhausted and you put that down and you've already dropped what you were supposed to be doing. And now you're feeling stuck and lost because you're like, I don't know. I'm trying and I don't know what it is I'm supposed to be doing. This is not working for me. But if you can look yourself in the mirror and just take yourself back to when you were a kid and try to figure out how long ago, when was it? Were you 5? Were you 7? Were you 9? When did you stop being who you were created to be? Just look back over your life and look at it and see, okay, I remember that I liked this. I remember I liked watching that, but then I got to school and I told people about it and they laughed at me. So I kind of kept watching it, but I wouldn't tell anybody. And then I was like, well, this is stupid. So I stopped watching it. This is stupid. I stopped drawing it. This is stupid. I stopped painting it. I stopped writing it. But you were created to be a writer. You were created to be a painter. You were created to be an artist. Maybe you were created to watch those movies so that you could be your own movie producer and have your own studio. Maybe you were created for that purpose and it's been in you all along, but you allowed 7-year-olds and 9-year-olds and 13-year-olds to strip it from you because of their own insecurities. And now you haven't even gone back to what it was that you loved about life in the first place. Because if you don't know this, your gift, what you're good at, your talent, what comes easier to you and harder to others, guess what? That's your line for success. That's the avenue that you're supposed to be in. That's the lane that you're supposed to just move on down the road in. But you're trying to hop over here in somebody else's lane, and that lane doesn't work, so you bypass your lane and go back to somebody. Have you ever seen that? Like, have you ever been on the road and you're in traffic? And traffic is flowing fairly decently. It's not gridlocked. It's not stopped. There's no bumper to bumper. Like there's enough space where if you want to speed up, you can get over in the lane, speed up, and then keep moving. But then you see in the back of you, like you look in your rearview mirror and here comes somebody behind you. And you just see them cutting through lanes. Then they get right up on people's bumpers because they're trying to squeeze in between this person who's in this lane and this person who's in this lane, just so that they can pass the person that they're behind in this lane. And it's a really tight squeeze, but they get up on there and they're playing a game right now to see, okay, if I can get close enough to this car without hitting them, then I should be able to get over in this lane and speed up enough so that they don't hit me. And so they're bumping past lanes, doing all that swerving. Y'all get to traffic light, and guess who there? The same person that exerted all of that energy. Do you know how anxious and just stressed and tense you have to be going through traffic like that? I know you know it because you've done it at one point. You might not have done it to that extreme, but you've been in a rush and you were like, oh my gosh, why is everybody driving so slow? No, they're driving the speed limit. And if they are slow, they're in the right lane. It's just that you're trying to drive 20, 30 miles above the speed limit. And so now they look slow to you. And so you move in through traffic and you like, oh, you have so much frustration and so much anxiety. You're tapping your fingers, you're leaning up on the wheel, and you're just looking really in all of your mirrors. And you're looking in the back mirror and you just, and you get over real quick and then you take off. And then you like, God, finally. Then you get to a traffic light. And everybody you just passed, they just cruise on up and pull up beside you and look at you like you did all that. You wasted all that gas, all that energy, all of that anxiety just to be sitting right here beside me. That's what you're doing in life. See, you're trying to leave where you are right now because this isn't for you. You know that. You know that there's something better for you. But the problem is you're not staying in your lane and driving your speed. You're trying to be like somebody else who you saw pop up on Instagram, but you don't know how much work they did in the dark before they got there. You're trying to be like somebody else who's been on stage for 20 years, and you want to hop on there now and expect to get the same result, expect to get the same appreciation, expect to get the same amazing response. And then when that doesn't work, you try something else. And that doesn't work, you try something else. And you keep trying all these things when deep down inside, there's something that you were created to do. And it's your gift. It's what's easy to you. But it's not so sexy. It's not fancy. Or maybe you're like, how do I monetize that? I don't get it. Maybe you're good at giving advice. Maybe you're good at speaking to young girls or young boys. Maybe you're good at baking and it's just so easy that you charge a couple of dollars here and there, but a bakery? Why would I need a job that's secure. And so we're operating in all of these different areas and different things in life, and we're not able to actually sit down in what we were created to do. Whether it be because of fear, insecurity, doubt, disbelief, someone else's opinions, what we think someone else is going to say, our own personal judgment, the judgment of other people, the judgment we think other people are going to have, all of this stuff that goes on in our head, all this chatter that forces us to make the wrong decisions and go try something that we weren't even supposed to be trying to do in the first place. Or maybe you're following somebody who calls themselves a leader and they're like, this is what you're good at. You need to do this. But because they're good at being a leader, or so it seems, you're like, oh, you must be right. So you tried and it's nothing like what you felt like you were supposed to be doing. And so you go down all these different lanes and all these different pathways and all these different roads and tunnels and alleys, all of this stuff, trying to be somebody you weren't. But your gift, your talent, all you got to do is operate in that and be authentically yourself. And the success will come to you. Well, success never comes to you, but because you always have to go to success. Like success isn't looking around like, oh my gosh, okay, she's over there operating her gift. All right, y'all, let's go. She's operating her gift. No. But success will be attracted to your authenticity. And it's like, oh, okay, that's nice. Y'all, do y'all see? She nice with that. She did that nice. And it's going to be attracted to you. And then your authenticity is like, is that success over there? Oh my gosh. Y'all see this is success over there. And they're looking at us. Success is looking at us. And then you're going to be so authentically yourself that you're going to operate with more confidence. And the more you operate with more confidence in being yourself, the more you be yourself. And the more you be yourself, the more progress you make towards your goals. And then success gets closer and closer because you're moving to it, right? Not because it's coming to you. Success is going to stay out there. Let's just be clear. Success stays where it is. It just looks because it's like, okay, let me see who's out there. But as soon as you start operating in your purpose and your gift, and you're doing things in your lane the way that God created you to do them, then you're going to get closer to success. And your authenticity is like, hold up, we getting close, y'all. We getting close. But you got to be yourself. You can't let other people who you think are more successful than you or have done these things, you can't let them talk you out of being yourself. Now, you can learn things, you can pick up tips and habits that you need to apply so that you can be more successful in your lane as yourself, but you can't let someone talk you out of being yourself. Because when someone talks you out of being yourself, you're letting someone talk you out of your own success. And so your success is like, oh my gosh, she looks so good. Yo, he doing it. He is doing it. And then all of a sudden he's like, wait, did y'all see? I don't know where did he go? Because all of a sudden you stop doing you in your way, the way that you were created to do you. Like Rocco said, you just do you and I'm going to do me. And if we live by that motto and you truly embody all of you and do you the way that God created you to do you, guess what? You and your authentic self will get up there to that success. And then authenticity gonna meet success, and success gonna meet authenticity, and they're gonna be like, hey, we made it. Hey, we made it. But you gotta be yourself. Take the advice that you can take and apply it within yourself. Don't strip yourself away from you and then try to paste on other people. That's that copy and paste. You're not here to survive. God didn't create you just to survive. You're supposed to thrive. You're supposed to live a life of abundance and prosperity and peace, joy, love, hope, and success. Like everything is supposed to be absolutely amazing for you. But you over here, copy, paste, copy, paste. Let me get this patch. Like you walking around looking like a Girl Scout. You got all these patches on you and you think you're doing something. But you got to be you. You got to strip those patches off. Everything, all the negative things that people have said about you when you were trying to be yourself, strip it off. Because I guarantee you they're somewhere else, either trying to be themselves or failing at being somebody else. Strip all of that stuff that you've been holding on to since you were in the 6th grade, in the 8th grade, in the 12th grade, since you were in college. It doesn't matter what other people said about you. Be yourself. Because everyone that you look at who's successful in life, they did it by being themselves. Tell me, if you hear the word Beyonce, do you think of anybody else's child who might be named Beyonce? Like to me, there's only one Beyonce. If I hear of a Beyonce Jackson, I'm like, why would you even name your daughter that? Like, were you trying? I get it. Some people, they name their kids because they're like, well, maybe if I give them this name, it'll make them be something more. No, now I got to walk around with the name Beyonce Jackson, and it's a whole Beyonce Knowles Carter out there. And she like the ultimate Beyonce. And now I look like off-brand, like you walk in the store to get one thing, but you come out with great value. I don't want to be a great value. So you got to be authentically yourself. And then your name, it's your name that's going to be making you the money, bringing you the joy, surrounding you with love and peace. It's your name. It's not Beyonce's. It's not anybody else's name. It's not anybody else's uniqueness. You just got to be you. And strip off everything that tried to change who you were created to be. And step in to everything that God made you to be. That's how you become successful. Just be yourself. If you missed any of the videos this week, just go back. Like I said, we've been talking about being hungry. You got to be hungry for success. But before we go, I need you to do me one favor. I need you to stop what you're doing. Comment below and scream at the top of your lungs. It doesn't matter where you are. It does matter because everything matters. It's just a low level of matter. Scream at the top of your lungs. Come through. Just say it like, you can whisper it, but just say it if you're thankful that God woke you up this morning, because gratitude is the absolute best way for you to start your day. And find something to be thankful for today. Regardless of what you're going through, regardless of how bad you feel right now, there's something. Is that air I can breathe? There are people around the world, they can't take a deep breath without choking and coughing. I have access to clean water. I can drink water and not have to worry about catching a disease or getting worms or getting sick. You mean to tell me that I don't have the best vision, but I can put on glasses and contacts, and then I can see when there's somebody in the world who doesn't have access to glasses or contacts, or can't even afford them if they did have access? There's always something to be thankful for, even in the midst of trials, adversity, tribulations, whatever you're going through. There's always something to be thankful for. So I challenge you to be thankful today. And if you don't remember anything else, that's fine. That's fine. You can watch it on replay. But always remember this. It's a great day to be alive. It's a great day to be great. And it's a great day to find the greatness in you. Now go out there. Promise me. Promise yourself that you're going to be authentic. Be yourself today. Regardless of what other people think, regardless of what other people are going to say, be yourself today. You live the greatest day of your life.